Have you ever seen footage online from an FPV drone and wondered how they got such good quality out of a GoPro? Well, today I'm going to show you how to get the best quality out of a GoPro 11 Mini or a GoPro 11 Full. Let's go. Okay, first thing you want to do is go to Google and type in GoPro Labs. Once GoPro Labs is opened, here's the second link down. It will have a thing on there saying try me now. Click on that. And then you'll have a big list of all the different GoPros. The ones we're going to be using is the GoPro 11 Mini or the GoPro 11 Full. So click on one of them, and what will happen is you'll have a file that you'll need to download and extract that file onto your SD card. So let's go do that. Okay, so here we have our GoPro 11 Mini, and we have formatted the SD card, and we have installed the update folder onto the SD card. Once you insert the card into the GoPro, it should power it on, and it should update to the latest GoPro Labs firmware. So let's go do that. Push that in there. Like that. Power on the GoPro. As you can see, it's saying updating. Give it a few minutes. Okay, that's that done. We are on the latest GoPro Labs firmware. Okay, now you've got your firmware on your GoPro 11 Mini or your GoPro 11 Black. It's time to go to your phone or your tablet or whatever you use and go to the App Store and type in QR Control. Once that have opened, the app should look similar to this. If you're using Apple, it might be slightly different, I'm not sure. But once you've downloaded that, you want to go ahead and open it. Okay, now we're in the app. First thing we want to do is move out of the way. Go to, this is not going to be just about settings, this is going to be about the extra features of the GoPro Labs. So what we want to do is go into extras, and the first thing we want to change is go down. There'll be a menu up at the top. You click on the arrow, it'll drop down, and then we'll go down to bitrate by here, and you got a range from 120 to 200 megabytes per second. Ideally, you can use whatever you want, but I set mine to 180. Once you've typed in the figure you want, click on permanent, and then with your GoPro, turn it on, wait for it to turn on, and basically point your GoPro at that QR code, and there is just confirmed that you have inputted those settings. The next settings I would change, especially if you're using the GoPro Mini, it's quite a handy feature to have. So if you go down all the way to HIST, which is a histogram, you put in a small histogram on the LCD on the Mini, which helps, you don't have to go into the app and check whether you've got good exposure or not. It makes things a little bit easier. So we're going to set that, and we'll set it at number 5 with a GoPro Mini as well. It's not changing the contrast, as it says. It's the time that the histogram will be shown on the LCD. So it's set to 5, which is ideal, I think, in my personal opinion. So we're going to set that. Again, set it to permanent, so it's constantly on. Point your GoPro at the camera. There we go. That's saved. The last two settings we want to look at is kind of a personal preference. If you're not into color grading, then I suggest you kind of leave these settings alone. But if you're looking, for a more flat image and more leave room to work with, then I suggest you can do this. The setting we're going to look for is wide. It's basically a wide gamut. We're not getting a Rec 709. It's basically shooting what the sensor sees rather than compressing the colors to a Rec 709. I think this is great personally. It gives you more flexibility for color grading. So by default it'll be set to 0 and we're going to set it as 1. So set with 1, leave it as permanent. It's up to you whether you're going to use the setting, but you know, if you're into your color grading and you want the best footage possible, then yeah, I suggest you can do it. So point your camera at the screen again, job done. And then from there, then we want to look at LOGB, which is going to change the look, the flatness of the image. By default, I think it's set to 113 with the flat profile on the GoPro, but you can push that even further, and what I've set it to is 400, but you can go even higher than that, probably like 600, 800, but I think 400 is a good starting point for most people, so we're going to set that now. And there's those settings saved. Apart from all them, I think that's all I would normally change. You can even look, you know, you can go further if you want to know what kind of settings I use for general videos. I shoot in 5K 4:3, 30 frames per second. Sorry, 5K 8:7. Sorry, not 4:3. That's on the older GoPros. Lens wide, stabilizer off. Other than that, that's about it. On ProTune, you're looking at 10-bit. Bit rate is already set in the extras, so shutter 180 degrees. It depends. Sometimes I use 90 degrees. It all depends on the situation, so most of the time it is 180 degrees. ISO min and max, you don't really want to go above 100 if you can help it, but if you're shooting in low light, then the max I would go is 400. Any more than that, and you're pushing the sensor capabilities. Obviously you can use it, but it's not really usable for anything decent from my personal experience anyway. Color flat, which has already been set in the extras. Yeah, that's it. That's everything with the GoPro settings. Quick recap of what we've done and what settings we've changed. We flashed the GoPro Labs firmware to the GoPro on the latest Labs firmware. We changed the bitrate from 120 to 180. You can push this to 200 if you like. It's typically up to you, but I don't think you're going to have any serious issues with overheating, because you know, you've got constant wind on an FPV drone compared with if you was on the ground. It'd be more understandable not to push it too far because you might get overheating issues. But because you're flying an FPV drone, you know yourself that you got a constant breeze on the drone, so you're not going to get any overheating issues. Other than that, we changed the histogram settings. We put a histogram on the LCD screen, which helps. You know, when you're setting up, you don't have to go into the GoPro app and check that you are exposed correctly. So this is really ideal for FPV drones in my personal experience. Other than that, we changed the wide gamut setting. You don't have to do this, like I said further in the video. It really depends whether you do any color grading or not. Typically I do all my color grading, so I can benefit from this. You're not clipping the colors, or you know, you've got a lot more flexibility with wide gamut than you have with Rec 709 gamut. You can test this yourself to see what results you get, but for me, I think it's great. You might have some issues color grading it, you know, but give it a test and see how it goes. Other than that, we changed the LOGB to 400 with stock is 113. This giving a more flat profile to work with, which in theory will give you more dynamic range. obviously, because you know it's a GoPro, you're not going to be getting crazy quality like your typical mirrorless camera, but you know you can still push them to the best that you can. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Maybe in the next video I will show you how I color grade all my GoPro footage. But until then, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. That's great. Thank you.